Alright, so here's the video on our pre-writing activity this week. So you've watched all the lectures on Compass, the instruction you received there, and from last week's assignment you should have a topic, you should have some good questions, some good note cards that you've turned in, and now it's time to do some pre-writing. This is the step before you actually create a draft. This is kind of in preparation of that draft. And so we're going to do two different activities. I'm going to talk about two different activities during this video, but only one of them needs to be turned into me. And that's the second one. That's the essay outline. But first we're going to talk about the pre-writing activities, or the pre-writing techniques. So I'd like you to choose one of the two that I'm about to show you, pre-writing techniques, and you pick which one you'd like to do. Now, this one, it does not need to be turned into me, but I don't want that to influence you from not doing it, because it's very important in the writing process. All right, first there's free writing. This approach frees ideas from your subconscious. It's where you just sit down with a pen, or I guess your fingers at a keyboard, and you just write for a designated amount of time. Could be 5, could be 10, could be 15 minutes. And you just write everything that's on your mind about your topic. Don't worry about punctuation, correct grammar, etc. This is just you spilling out your mind. You just write without stopping. So there's that technique that you could do. I kind of like this technique just because sometimes I get some really nonsensical things that come out. Things that if I would have been thinking logically, I would have never written down or thought of for a research essay, but they might be able to, I don't know, add a little personality to your paper, or you can change them around a little bit and tweak them to where kind of adds a little bit of humor or a different insight. So I do like free writing for those reasons. Next there's brainstorming. That's thunder, by the way. So brainstorming, a little different from free writing because this actually involves a little actual thinking. Instead of just spilling out your thoughts, you actually will think beforehand and think about what you're writing. So you take your topic. In both these instances you take your topic, but for this one you take your topic and you think of significant words or phrases associated with that topic. So then you write down those words or phrases that come to your mind. Then under each category, under each one of those words that you've just written down or phrases, you write everything that comes to your mind, everything you know about those words or phrases. So then you should have like columns set up in a way where all this information is written underneath these different subtopics. And then once you're done with that, once you've written everything you can about the words or phrases that are associated with your topic, then you connect the dots and expand that even further. So then you connect the dots on how you could organize this into a well thought out essay. So, alright, now this is the part that's going to actually be turned in, and I'd like you to use the outline maker template that I've included. It should be right when you log into this assignment. It should be right there, but there's the web address if you'd like to type all that into your little web bar up at the top, your search tab. Anyway, so go there, and when you do, it's kind of outlines everything. You just fill in the information, and we're going to go over now some of the areas that they're going to ask you to put information in on, and I'm just going to explain some of the ones that may be confusing. So what does this mean? Well, the title, when asked for the title, this is the title of your essay. Do not just put a topic name, like if you're speaking about obesity, or if you're speaking about, or not speaking, if you're writing about or researching about obesity, or let's say bilingual education, whatever it may be, do not just put the topic name. Do not just put your essay topic as obesity or bilingual education. Give it something original. Typically you might want to think of your thesis, you might want to think of what you're going to focus on in your essay, and it may have to do with something like that. So put the title of your essay there. This can be a tentative title. It doesn't have to be, the one you use in your final research draft. But just put something in there for now. I'm going to ask for your name. That's your name. There you go. Oh, I get it now. Oh. So background. This is where you put some information for your introductory paragraph. And the introductory paragraph, it prepares the reader, which is me, for pretty much to introduce your essay topic. Gives me some background on it. And so you can share the background by giving me a little brief history or sharing some statistics, some interesting statistics, not just throwing me numbers at me, making them relevant. Current examples, so you could start talking about an example today, and then boom, you give me your thesis at the end of that. Excuse me. Every time I every time I talk on these, my throat dries out. So yeah, it's pretty much your introductory paragraph. Introduction. Give me some background on your topic, on your thesis. Now your thesis, you may or may not already have this done if you've done your note cards, but a thesis, it's a statement that communicates the main idea of your paper to me, to the reader. It does not simply introduce the topic of your paper. A thesis statement takes a stand on a topic. So we're going to look at some examples of what a thesis statement looks like. This is the most important part. A thesis statement, it takes a stand on a topic. So you could have a topic, and pretty much if you just talk about it, it's more of an expository essay. But you're taking a stand on it. You're going somewhere with your essay, and you're taking a stand, and your research is going to be based on that stance that you have. Need more help? No understanding? Okay, we'll look at some examples. So here's some thesis examples. Let's say my topic is bilingual education. So here's an example of a pretty decent thesis. I could still go somewhere where I could expand it a little bit more, but here's cut and dry. Makes a bold stand. Thesis number 1. Bilingual education has not fulfilled its early promise. Now we're assuming here with this thesis that I've kind of explained in my background a little bit about that promise. So that way this is not so irrelevant to the reader, so they understand what that early promise was. So that's what you would use in your background. It kind of prepares the reader for your thesis, leads them into it. But that's it takes a stance, right? Bilingual education has not fulfilled its early promise. I've taken a stance. I do not believe it has. This is all just me throwing out stuff. I don't really know how I feel about it, but here's thesis number 2. Bilingual education suffers from 2 main problems: the shortage of trained teachers and the lack of parental involvement. So here if I expanded a little more, and I've kind of prepared you in a way for what I'm going to address exactly in the essay. Well, didn't want to do that. And so I take a stance. I say that it suffers from 2 main problems. That's my stance. And here is my explanation on what those 2 main problems are. And I'm most likely, if I don't, then I've written a bad paper, but I am more than likely going to address these for my subtopics: the shortage of trained teachers and the lack of parental involvement. And I'll just give more research on that, talk about that, show some numbers, show some quotes. Yeah. Here's some bad examples, unexamples, or yes, not good examples. So do not do this. These are not really thesis statements. So let's say once again my topic is bilingual education. So number 1, bad example. Bilingual education is really good. Now you can fill bilingual education in with anything here, whatever your research is. Obesity is really good, or obesity is bad, right? That's too broad. Too broad. These statements are too broad. Yes, this is a stance, but it's way too broad. I mean, you could go 100 different directions with this in your essay. And we really want you to focus your essay. And so make sure your thesis statement is clear, concise, but specific. Good, really good. I have no idea what that really means. Is bilingual education wholesome? Good in that way, or it's a positive thing? Good is not a good word. Number 2, bad example. This essay will focus on bilingual education. Well, that does not take a stance. It just tells me what you're going to write about in your paper. Remember, a thesis statement needs to take a stance on something. Don't just tell me what you will write about. Thesis statements come at the end of the introduction paragraph and prepare the reader on the stance that you've taken in this essay. Don't just tell me what topic you've addressed. Tell me what stance the essay is taking on the topic. Number 3, bad example. Chili is perhaps the greatest food item of all time. Well, that has nothing to do with the topic. Don't write a thesis statement that has nothing to do with your topic. That'd be really weird. So let's look at subtopics. What does that mean? So it's going to ask you to fill in your subtopics. A subtopic is one of the divisions into which a main topic may be divided. So what that means is, let's say the main topic is obesity. My thesis is obesity is a growing epidemic that is killing millions of Americans every year. So there's my stance. See, it's very specific. So now my subtopics are the breakdown of my essay. So I have my introduction. My introduction is going to give me some background to prepare my reader for this thesis statement. Then I'm going to have several body paragraphs. In this case, I may have 3 or 4, but my subtopics are going to be what those paragraphs are about. So I may have one paragraph about nutrition and obesity. I may have a subtopic on lifestyle and obesity. And I may have a paragraph on diseases associated with obesity. And so really subtopics are those areas that you are going to break down. They're about your topic, but it's the breakdown of your topic. And so, and you do not need a conclusion.
I just need to know.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. You can say.
Okay. You don't need a conclusion for this. You only need to fill out the outline, because right now you may not know where you're going with your essay. So you don't need to worry about the conclusion until you've began writing your first draft. So if you have any questions, just let me know. You can email or call. And good luck.